All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm thinking it might be 2 p.m. Hawaii time. We're just going to say, let's see here. And it is 8 p.m. on that there East Coast and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter, and we have got people coming in on the new time, the new old time. We'll see how long we can stay at this time. That's right. 5 p.m. Wednesday, 5 p.m. Sunday. We'll see if it sticks. Right now, we've got Michael Anthony Smith in the house saying hi to everybody. We have got Pussycat coming in with all of his cool cat sunglasses. Gina coming in saying hello to everybody. Picola T also here. And Shock at the helm right now, reminding everybody it is 5 p.m. West Coast time. If you came here an hour earlier, I'm sorry for the confusion, but madness always reigns here at the StatterBox, Chatter with Statter, so it shouldn't surprise you that there was some other craziness afoot. That's right, time switches, 5 p.m. And who knows, we might end up switching time again, but as of right now, with everything I know, 5 p.m. West Coast time, no matter what. Pussycat, the clocks change, but it's still going to be 5 p.m. West Coast time. The only thing that's going to adjust the time flow is if and when Andy Bumatai's stream comes back online and his schedule somehow interrupts, then we're going to have to do a little gear switch again. But right now, 5 p.m. West Coast time, Mad Statter is claiming it as possession of the StatterBox crew. Darlene and Rick in the house, good to see you. Darlene and Rick, from what I understand, first snow of the year last night, or night before. Basically, Halloween is a little snowy snow, and I don't know if that affected any of the trick-or-treaters, but if I ruled the world and all the weather in it, the snow would not happen until after Halloween. Goodness gracious. And speaking of Halloween, I've got a little bit of a soapbox to get on about that. But before I get on my soapbox, why don't we get the party started? That's right, it's spooky snow. Scary Halloween spooky snow. And actually, really, the spookiest part of the snow is keeping that there walk clean and not icy, because the last thing you want to do is get sued by someone because they slipped on your walk. But, all right, you guys, it's time for soapboxes. Sometimes I get on a soapbox, and if you were on my social media yesterday, you already know what this soapbox is, but I'm gonna go soapboxing again. You guys, look, when Bacola T slipping on a walk, too much grease. Yep, there you go. And Gina, exactly. Flashlights, people. My goodness. When I grew up, the neighborhood that I grew up in had no streetlights. So by default, if you were going to see, you had to bring one. But seriously, you guys, flashlights. If you're walking on a street that has minimal to no streetlights and there's no sidewalks and you're all in black and you're with children under the age of 5, maybe even with a baby in my arms, your arms, everybody's arms, could you do yourself a favor and maybe have a flashlight in your group? Every single group of people that I passed trick-or-treating last night on my way home after dark, not one of them, not one group of them had a flashlight. Not one. Not one. Now, the first group that I came across, I chuckled a little bit. It was 4 or 5 teenagers They were definitely teenagers, old enough to know not to run into the middle of the street. And I was like, stupid teenagers, you really should have flashlights. Someone should have told you better. But you're rebellious teenagers, so I sort of chuckled it off and went on driving. And then boom, this time I don't run into, but come by another group, only this is a group of adults with small children. Not one of them has a flashlight. And then I go further down, and this lady with a baby in her arms comes out of the shadows from between two parked cars while I'm already trying to maneuver around this other group of people who are on the other side of the street who also don't have flashlights. So I'm not really sure how many of them there are, because they're all in spooky black clothing. Nobody's wearing reflectors. Nobody's got a glow stick in their hand. I about lost my mind. I mean, I did. I lost my bloody mind by the time I got home. I could not understand what people were thinking. I mean, dog walkers have better sense after dark in the Pacific Northwest, and dogs are on flippin' leashes. These tiny little children who are very excited about trick-or-treating are not on leashes. Like I said, I knew that the teenagers were smart enough not to go running out in the middle of traffic, so I just chuckled when I drove by them. But when I drove by the groups of grown-ups with small little ones who I don't have the faith that they're not going to get really excited and run out into the street. I don't have that faith the way I do with a teenager, not that he's a teenager. Anyway, I was just gobsmacked, y'all. And so yeah, that was just me being on the warpath last night. And Michael Anthony Smith brought up, because Michael Anthony Smith was on my social medias and he totally saw this rant yesterday or earlier today, whatever, doesn't matter. His response was exactly perfect, which was, gee, it's really too bad that cell phones don't all come with flashlights installed on them, isn't it? Oh, wait. Yeah, exactly. Every single one of y'all had a flashlight on you, even if you didn't flip and realize it. And none of y'all used them. So now I'm here saying, get off my lawn. Only actually, what I guess really I'm saying is, get on my lawn. It's way safer. Rather than out in the street with no flashlight. Hey, Elaine, good to see you coming in. You're coming in right now at the end of a little ranty rant, soapbox moment. You don't go out trick-or-treating after dark on a street light, on a street with no sidewalks or street lights without a flashlight. And that's just, well, I thought it was common sense, but apparently it's not common sense, right? Right, exactly. So let's see here. And Darlene, exactly. Flashlights are a must at night. You've got them everywhere up north. Yeah, exactly. And let's see here. Picola T, so annoying when I worked in Germany. Pretty much everyone wore my color, head to toe, walking in the dark everywhere. Mein Gott. Yeah, exactly. And I guess because I wear black from head to toe, and I do understand how difficult it is to see me because of my choice of clothing. Even when I had a dog, a foster dog, and had to go out every night because at 7:30 at night, she had to go out regardless of the time of year. 7:30, boom, she had to go out. Well, it gets really dark at 7:30 at this time of year. So all black, even I knew enough to carry a flippin' flashlight. And it wasn't even Halloween. And so let's see here, Felicia coming in at the end of me going rare, rare, rare. And so now she's like, I'm going to stay K. I don't know what happened. But let's see here. And Mama Sean, 3 preteens this morning going out to the bus stop, all in black. We live on properties, dirt roads. You freaked out at that too. Absolutely. Totally. I mean, I understand the need and the want to wear all black. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But really, if you need to be aware of your surroundings and maybe have your cell phone on and lit up so people can at least see this glowing orb along the side of the dark road that might have someone attached to it, right? And let's see here. Rick, okay, FYI, if you want to laugh on YouTube, Mark Rober, Glitter Bomb fame, just posted a funny Halloween just take one candy video. Okay. And yeah, exactly, Mama Sean. I don't particularly want to kill someone's babies either. Or the mom holding the baby in her hand, which I don't know if you were here when you heard that part of the story, but seriously, there was a grown-up with a baby in her hand, no flashlight. Actually, the baby wasn't in her hand. The baby was in her arms. Let me rephrase that. Either way, she wasn't just swinging the baby. If she was just swinging the baby, I would know, oh, well, that's the kind of mom we're dealing with. I guess no flashlight is par for course. But she was acting like she was protective of her young child, just completely oblivious to the fact that she and her young child were invisible to the drivers. And Gina, I'll tell you what, dude, you sometimes you just need to sit back and listen to the others and then strum when you can and whatever. Because, yeah, keeping up, it's like you can sort of go, and when I say you, I just mean the generalized people learning. They've got it, but they don't maybe have the rhythm of it or the speed of it that the rest of the players have. So, just listen when you can, strum what you can when you can. And when you get too overwhelmed, well, then so what, dude? You just listen, lean back and listen to the beautiful music that you're surrounded by. And you'll eventually catch the rhythms, pick up the speeds. It'll stick. And let's see here, Picola T, any responsible driver will look out for pedestrians. Oh, and I sure as heck was looking out for these pedestrians because I knew it was Halloween night. I knew there would be. I just didn't realize it would be like a trick question for me to find them. I was under the impression they would make themselves a little bit more easily known, right? Good Lord. So yeah. So I was a little bit annoyed last night when it came to the Halloween situation. And it's not so much the Halloween situation. It was just the adult parents really disturbed me. They really listen, Mom, I'm really disappointed in you is kind of what I want to say to all of those people that I saw on the road. I'm disappointed in you. And hopefully that would be enough, because Lord knows that was often enough when I got in trouble. I'm disappointed in you. It's like, oh, that's worse. Just ground me. And let's see here. Oh, hey, Andre's in the house. Just a bit of time to say hello. You're manning the front gate at your school, buzzing parents in because nobody was in the office. All right, then. Well, good. Good to see you here, Andre. You might have noticed, or you might not have. We are starting at 5 p.m. West Coast time on Wednesdays again now. I know that you being at work or you not transporting, what is it? Commuting, you coming home from work usually happens at this time, so you probably can't catch us on Wednesdays. But if the 5 p.m. West Coast time frame works more better for you, well, it works more better for you maybe. And so hopefully we'll be at the 5 p.m. West Coast time for a while now. It really all depends on what Andy Bumatai decides to do. In fact, I was wondering, because I don't know, is Andy coming back today? Today is November 1st. Happy November 1st, y'all. All Saints Day. Dia de los Muertos. But I know that Andy was supposed to come back in November, and November is today, so I wasn't sure if he was coming back today, but I haven't heard that he was. So if anybody knows, chime in, because if Andy does show up at like 6 p.m. and we're still running, I might cut the show short and just be like, we're gonna go hang out with Andy. So if anybody knows, let me know. And let's see here. Bad dad joke. What do you call a dead chicken that haunts you? It's a poultrygeist. Oh, that is just... Oh, that's a groaner. I'm going to have to steal that one. And Mama Sean, that's why I live in Arizona. I can drive up to see snow if I want, but rarely have to deal with it. There you go. Yep, that's kind of like it is here in the Puget Sound Basin. We sometimes deal with the snow, but most of the time it's the mountains that get it. And oh my goodness. Huzzy Cat, thank you so much. We're 20 minutes in, and I completely forgot to play the Lonos. So hopefully, I think we've got Lono going on in the background now. Thank you so much. See, this stream doesn't happen unless we all work together to make this stream happen. And let's see here. Bacola T giving Andre's work and parents maybe some guff. Working the gate at dusk. Can you see these parents? Or are they dressed in stutter color, blending into the dark? Yeah, exactly. And let's see here. What was it that Michael Anthony Smith said about her? About candy bars. Let's see here. And hey, Cindy Krause, so good to see you. Hope you had a good Halloween. I'm over here complaining about a lack of flashlights on the streets in Halloween. But other than that, the Halloween was really quite lovely. And let's see here, 74 degrees and sunshine this afternoon, which is why you no longer live in the Pacific Northwest, because it's rainy and 45 degrees. Yeah, I don't think it's 45. Well, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Well, according to my weather app, it's actually 53 degrees, but you know. It's not 74. That is for darn sure. And let's see here. Gina, oh, you've been binging season 1 of the show The Prisoner? I don't think I've heard of that show. But let's see here. Darlene, right, only 40. So the snow melted away. That is good. Daytona, getting the perfect 71 degree weather. No, that's not how that works. Daytona's got the perfect 61 degree weather. And 64% humidity. Hey, gosh darn it. That sounds like great weather. I mean, you probably are freezing your buns off, Pussycat, but for me, that sounds like awesome weather. I might have to go visit Daytona in November one day. And Cindy, you went from 36 to 83. Whoo, boy, howdy. That sounds extreme. Yeah, like really extreme. But then again, that's what you are, aren't you? You're in that high mountain, hot mountain, cold mountain extremities up there. And let's see here. Yeah, I know, right, Mama Sean? That is quite a spread. And 72 right now in San Francisco, brags Andre, but the cold is coming. All right, that's cool. That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad for you. And yeah, Bacola T, I think I saw Mitchie Mama on Facebook complaining about the winds or lack thereof, and how it's okay, we can get the winds now. It's November, time to get the breezes breezing. And Pussycat, interesting. You had extreme fog inland this morning. I just don't think of Florida as foggy. Interesting. And Deb Case, 38 degrees in Kentucky. Definitely getting to be the fall chill in the air. But you can't stay long because your dog had surgery. She got spayed. Good for you, Deb, for taking care of the little pupperdoodle. Make sure not to have any more pupperdoodles. But yeah, definitely take care of the little one, the little fluffer pupper. Got to take care of the fluffer pupper. Just like right now, you know what I'm doing? I'm squeezing the ear of my kitter catter. And you know what else we're gonna do? Yes, we know what we're gonna do. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Here we go. There we go. It's right. Yeah, we got you. We got you. We got you. And really interesting, Pussycat. So the fog, the worst stuff is on the ocean. Yeah, well, that makes sense on the ocean. But I didn't know. I honestly just had no idea that you guys. Yeah, just never occurred to me. Makes no sense that you wouldn't. I mean, you're right near the water, but who knew? Who knew? Well, now we all know. And let's see here. Yes, she is adorable, but now she's adorable and angry, just out of arm's reach. She's so offended, which is why I do it. She can get her attentions and then leave me alone, basically. And that's right, Michael Anthony Smith. If we could turn back time, but you can this weekend. Don't forget to do that this weekend. Another thing that I meant to remind you guys about last week, but I did not, but there's still time. Don't forget to vote. Now, I don't know if you can vote early. I don't know if you can vote by mail. In the state of Washington, we pretty much only vote by mail. You can go in person, but we pretty much only vote by mail. So, remember, this coming Tuesday is voting day. So get your ballot in on time. Either go in person or mail it in or however it is you need to do it. Remember, you guys, it's that time of year. Votey vote and the votersons that voted all the time. Well, no, not all the time. Just the one time that they're supposed to, but every time. Just once. One vote. I'm not saying vote early, vote often. I'm just saying vote the one time that you have for each vote. Michael Anthony Smith. Michael Anthony Smith, on the other hand, he's like, no, vote as often as you can. Vote as many times as possible. I'm just saying, for every election, vote your vote. So over a lifetime, you'll be voting as many times as possible. But in one vote, just do your one vote. Hey, Kulika, good to see you. I'm just reminding folks that now that Halloween's over, it is voting time. No, Pussycat, I'm not saying that we're talking politics, although I do understand that the act of voting is political. But vote who you want, write in the names that you want, or don't write in the names that you want. Or don't vote if you don't want, actually, if that's cool too. But I guess what I'm saying is, if you intend to vote, don't forget to vote. This Tuesday is the date. That's what I really mean. Because, yeah, some people don't vote, and there you go. But if you do want to vote, you got to do it in time, and there you have it. And yeah, exactly, Mama Sean. You tell the young people at work that votes matter, but if you need to know how to vote, I will definitely tell you. Yep, there is that. And I'm not going to tell anybody who to vote for. All I want to remind people is, if you intend to vote, there is a deadline, and it's this Tuesday, so do it by then. That's all I'm saying. And I'm also saying, although this wasn't part of my planned speech, I'm also saying I feel like I'm gonna sneeze and I have to rub my nose, so hold on one sec. Oh my goodness, what is going on? So that there, I had to say that too. All right, you guys. We have got a bunch of random stuff to talk about today. But first, we're going to talk about what we always talk about, at least a little bit. Because for the most part, much of the topics that we have on hand to chatter about, it's because of our roving reporter, Pacola T. That's right. And so, you guys, Pacola T, she, Darlene, chocolate will... I'm not sure if we'll get to the topic of chocolate, but let's see if we can scatter the way there. So, Pacola T decided to make all of us jealous with this beautiful Gao-G that we're looking at right here. Gao-G is something that is not very easy to find outside of Hawaii. And this is some chicken on top of a cake noodle. And then this is oxtail stew, I believe. It looks like some kind of stew. I'm gonna go with oxtail, and it looks delicious. But these Gao-G right here, Gao-G basically are simplified wontons. Wontons that aren't fancy shaped. And you've got chopped up garlic and shrimp and pork all minced together, folded over very easily, and then deep fried. And I'll tell you what, Gao-G is something that I think everybody should try and make at home, because unlike most dumplings in Asian fare, where you actually have to have some skill to actually like fold stuff properly and make them look good, Gao-G, it's very simple. They're just, you get a square wonton wrapper and you fill it with stuff and you fold it in half. Everybody can fold it in half, right? And let's see here. How come in Kaneohe they call it Gao-Chi? Gosh, I don't know. I could be pronouncing it wrong. I always thought it was Gao-Ji, but Pacola T would probably be the better person to clarify what the flying fork it is that I'm actually talking about. And let's see here. Cindy Krause. Yeah, there's shrimp. Yeah, there's shrimp and pork all minced together. And sometimes I guess there's like, mushrooms maybe or whatever. But basically it's shrimp and pork, super common combo. And Cindy, she's like, I make them all the time. And Michael Anthony Smith, your mom used to make those when she was alive. Well, my best guess is you could make them now. Now, granted, obviously, you're not going to want to make them the quote-unquote traditional way with the pork and the shrimp, because from my understanding, you are a vegetarian. But my best guess is you could make something very similar, because, like I said, dude, you don't have to have fancy folding skills to make the Gao-G look good, because all you're doing is just folding it in half. And so, oh, that's right, Pacola T, water chestnut. Water chestnut was another thing that's in there. That's right, I forgot all about that. So yeah, the Gao-G looking good or whatever. The oxtail soup, I definitely want to slurp that up. But the one thing that I have a question about, I don't recall ever eating this. I don't recall ever eating this next one. It's the chicken with the cake noodle. So can anyone, Pacola T, obviously I'm looking in your direction, but Cindy Krause, Michael Anthony Smith, really anybody with familiarity, what is up with the cake noodle? It sort of looks like they just took the noodle out of a package and then took it out of a package and then just like fried it up on the grill without separating them. It almost looks like it's like a packet of ramen that they just like fry on the grill. What? So Pacola T, they're basically cooked noodles that are pan-fried crispy but still tender inside. Huh, interesting. I don't know. I'm not saying I've never had this, because it looks like something I would have had, but I have no recollection of ever having noodle prepared that way. But I will try it one day. And Michael Anthony Smith, yeah, I'm not really a fan of water chestnuts either, but if they're tiny enough pieces and they're just there for like texture, I can handle them. But if I'm making them at home and I don't happen to have that ingredient in my cupboard, I'm probably not going to go out to the store to buy it. And Pussycat bragging, I'm going to make a batch of homemade meatballs tomorrow, and I have all the ingredients. Yes. And then you'll add them to homemade sauce. Beautiful, perfect. I have a freezer full of meatballs that I made. I bought a bunch of ground beef and divided it up into some meatballs, divided it up into other things and stuff. And so it is so lovely to have a freezer full of things like meatballs. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And let's see here. Cindy, steamed first, maybe? I just cooked the noodles all hamajang. Looks like a new fad. I don't think it is a new fad, Cindy, and this is definitely where I am not knowing what the flying fork I'm talking about. But I heard, I can't remember if it was Amanda and Felix or if it was Authentically Charles, or maybe both. But I've actually heard, okay, and Pocola tea. I've been eating cake noodle since Hanabata days. Okay, like the 60s. Yeah, I was gonna, that's what I was trying to say, just not, well, it was either Authentically Charles or Amanda and Felix, or maybe both separately. But the Hawaiian food channels that I watch, somebody, we'll just say Charles, was talking about the classic, like you only, it's apparently it's not a Chinese thing. It's like a Hawaiian Chinese thing. It's a Hawaiian interpretation of, that. It's not a traditional classic. I mean, I guess anything you get in the stateside isn't really traditional or classic Chinese food, but it sounded like, though, it was like an old school Hawaiian staple but you can really only find it in old school hole in the wall places, which I think is what Pocola Tea said is where they were when they got that food. Good to see you, Deb. Thank you so much for hanging out. Go take care of the little pupper. Make sure the pupper is healthy and comfortable. And so okay, though, Pocola Tea is confirming, though, yes, they're not a new fad. It is definitely an old fad, so to speak. And let's see here, Michael Anthony Smith coming in. Quarter noodles like from the lunch trucks? Good question, and I'm in no position to answer that because I don't remember ever getting noodles from the lunch trucks because I was only like 3. Let's see here. Pussycat, you had to go out and get more hamburger meat because your wifey made hamburger out of the first batch last night. Fair enough. But so Pussycat, your meatballs are probably legit meatballs. Do you use pork and beef, or do you just use beef? Because my meatballs are just cheater meatballs. They're just beef. And let's see here. Darlene, you just made homemade pork chop suey with bean sprouts. Yum. Water chestnut. Bamboo shoots. In moderation. I can do those. And celery, mushrooms in a broth over rice. Darlene, that sounds like total classic. I mean, classic chop suey right there. Right on. I didn't used to like bamboo shoots, but I have since somehow gotten a fever for the flavor. And okay, so Elaine, if coming in with the reality, if done well, cake noodles are fried crispy, but the gravy softens the crunchiness. First time you had cake noodle, it was hard on the outside and not very digestible. But now it's very onolicious. Michael Anthony Smith, now I'm hungry. Oh, Pussycat. Okay, so your meatballs are just beef too, but Meatloaf gets the ground pork. Okay. All right then. Okay. Everybody does their own different thing. So yes, there we have it. And, okay, Picola Tea coming in. Yes, cake noodles get softened with the sauce. Now, Elaine, Picola Tea, are the cake noodle, are they the same thing as the noodles that Michael Anthony Smith was asking about, the 25-cent truck noodles, or is that a different thing entirely? Yeah, that's my question. And Michael Anthony Smith's question, I guess. All right, while we're waiting for that importantness, Picola Tea also shared some pictures of, let's see here, Darlene bragging about her meatloaf, mixture of pork and beef. Okay, yummy. And Michael Anthony Smith, all right, good to see you. Time to go night-night. I'm glad you could hang out for as long as you could. So happy when you can hang out, but your schedule requires you to go night-night probably an hour ago. So super stoked you were able to hang out though and have and be a part of this conversation, because of course Hawaiian food, it's a conversation we all want to be a part of. But let's see here, switching over to some things and stuff. Okay, so Picola Tea never had quarter noodles, so you don't know if it's the same as cake noodle. Right, exactly. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Maybe somebody in the comments who was watching this later can come in with full-on knowledge that we need to have. And, okay, and Elaine, yeah, you either, okay, so, yeah, we don't know, Michael Anthony Smith, nobody knows. Okay, so, now, Picola Tea showed us all sorts of foods and things and stuff. But she also took pictures of these birds. They're called golden plovers. Golden Pacific plovers. Pacific golden plovers. Something like that. They're called that. And you guys, these birds fly from Alaska to Hawaii. Oops, wrong one. Oh no. Did I not do what oh no. Plovers. Boom. There we go. These plovers, they fly from Alaska to Hawaii in like 3 flippin' days. And pronounce plover. Like lover with a P. Plover, not plover. Okay. So it's a plover. See, here we go. And plovers, they exist all over the place. Some of them, hold on. See, that's right. Did we have maps? Yes, we have maps. So the American golden plover, which is not the ones that fly to Hawaii, the American golden plover, all right, this is all, the Pacific plover starts in Alaska and then goes to Hawaii. The American plover starts over there in Canada and ends up going to South America. The American golden plover is usually found in all the red parts. Now the red parts on the left side of the screen, that Alaska part, some of those plovers go to Japan. Some of those plovers go to Hawaii. Some of them go to Samoa. Some of them go to New Zealand. And then these American plovers, they just go to South America. So there you have it, rabbit. And I cannot remember, so now I'm going to have to go look it up. In Hawaii, they call the plover something completely different. They call it, what do they call it? They call it a kolea. So it's called a kolea in Hawaii. And let's see here. And yes, indeedy, Darlene, they do get around. And so, but not only do they get around, what is amazing is, as you can see, it takes them 3 to 4 days to go from Alaska to Hawaii. And god dang it. There we go. And it takes them 7 days from Alaska to Samoa. It takes them 3 days to go from Alaska to Japan. I just can't believe it. And then, and Pakolati coming in with some more factoids. A small handful of Pacific Golden Plovers never leave the islands. These kolea are year-round residents. Probably know a good thing when they see it. Exactly. And so, who knows if these plovers that Pakolati saw were the year-round residents or the migrants? Hard to say, we don't know. But we do know that its kin, if nothing else, makes a lot of fast journeys over the long sea, the deep sea, and PPB Bang coming in saying hello to everybody. Right now we are talking about really random stuff. First we were talking about food, but now we're talking about birds. And Puzzy Cat, no, these aren't Arctic terns, they're plovers. Although, now I wonder what an Arctic tern looks like. Oh, Arctic terns. No, they're very different, but ooh, what an amazing looking bird an Arctic tern is. And I'll bet you they fly a lot too, because I would imagine any bird that starts out in the Arctic it probably wants to leave at some point of the year. And funny you should say that, PPB Bang. Next up, we're going to talk about birds that are also good food. Well, funny you should say that, because it is getting to be that time of year when people are looking for a Christmas goose. And I'll tell you what, right now, if you want to learn a little bit about geese, I've got a whole situation lined up. It's about the infamous CobraChickens. Do you know about CobraChickens? Do you know what a CobraChicken is? I'll tell you what a CobraChicken is. I don't know if this is how CobraChicken really got to be what it got to be, but I heard on the interwebs, you see, there was a gentleman from south of the border working on a farm. Now, the gentleman who worked south of the border did not speak English as his first language. I think he spoke Spanish. I'm not sure. We're gonna say he spoke Spanish. So, not speaking English as a first language, working in a ranch, barn, farm situation in America, there was some communication breakdowns. And sometimes he had trouble explaining to other people what it was he was talking about. And so, one day, when he was going through, or after a week or so of doing his duties, he finally said to somebody, or he asked somebody something about what was going on at a certain gate, because at this gate, it was really difficult for him to go through the gate, because a CobraChicken wouldn't let him pass. It kept hissing at him. And it took him a second, but then people were like, oh, I know the gate he's talking about. and it's a Canadian goose. So the CobraChicken is actually another name for a Canadian goose. If you ever hear anybody talking about CobraChickens, they actually mean a Canadian goose, because they're mean, they're hostile, they hiss at you, they're kind of violent, and they give you a general hard time. And unfortunately, Canadian goose can pretty much be found everywhere. So, you are at risk of running into a CobraChicken no matter where you go. And you know what's even worse? There's more than one kind of CobraChicken. Wait, what? Yeah, there's more than one kind. See all these CobraChickens? Some of them aren't CobraChickens. They look like CobraChickens, don't they? Those all look like Canadian geese, but not all of them are Canadian geese. And no, Darlene, a goose is not a chicken. That is true. But because he didn't have the English language skills, he didn't know what to call it. He didn't know what a goose was. But he did know what a chicken was because he worked on a farm. And he knew apparently what a cobra was. So he put it together. It was like CobraChicken. And swans also can be very, very nasty. That is true. That is true. But check this out, you guys. We've got two kinds of goose here. We've got ourselves a Canada goose. We've got ourselves a Cacklin goose. And even though they look almost identical, they're actually not. They're two different birds. So just when you thought that Canada geese were really your problem, as it turns out now, oh, it might not just be Canada geese. It could also be the Cacklin goose, because the Cacklin goose, while not found everywhere, they're found in a lot of places. A lot of places you're gonna find Cacklin geese and Canada geese. And yes, both of them are very protective of their nesting sites and their food resources. And exactly, Mama Sean, most geese can be nasty. But it seems like Canada geese have the reputation to be really, really nasty. And here's a close-up of the two different heads. One of these is a Canada goose, and the other is a Cacklin goose. The bigger one is the Canada goose. The smaller one is the Cacklin goose. And then here we got them side by side. And I call this picture Arnold and Danny. Arnold is the bigger one. Danny is the littler one. Can anybody guess why I call them Arnold and Danny? You've kind of got to be old to know this reference. But I'm curious if anybody knows why I call this picture Arnold and Danny. Ding, 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 ding. Pacola T's got it. That's exactly right. That is why I call that picture Arnold and Danny. And let's see here. So Pacola T, despite reading about them as a traditional holiday meal, I don't recall ever seeing goose at the grocery store or anybody else. I feel like I did see a goose in the frozen section of a hoity-toity grocery store. I want to say maybe it wouldn't have been Whole Foods because I don't go to Whole Foods. Probably Puget Sound Community Co-op or something like that. I think that you can get them frozen, but like you kind of need to go looking for it. That's for sure. Oh, you know what? I might have seen it also at the Asian store, because the Asian store pretty much has like everything. I mean, if you want, do you want a hog's head? Do you want a whole hog's head? And by the way, when I say hog's head, I actually mean like bigger than a basketball, huge head. Do you want just the head of a pig? Because I know where you can get one. Actually, last time I was there, you could get two. So it was on the shelf in the meat section. Just looking at you. Hi. I'm a pig's head. This is my nose. These are my eyes. These are my ears. I'm on a styrofoam tray, wrapped in plastic, staring out at you. In the meat section. I'm a pig's head. There's another one behind me. There's two of us. Two pig's heads. Yeah, so actually, I know where I can get a pig's head, yo. And let's see here. You've seen goose in the freezer at Aldi's. Okay. And Mama Sean, the grandkids wouldn't eat it, so she just quit buying them. You'd think that they were normal back on the farm. Yeah, I would imagine. And yeah, but then next question, what did they taste like? Please don't say chicken. And Pussycat, one time you chased a wild turkey and almost caught it barehanded. If only you had a bow and arrow or a shotgun, you would have had Thanksgiving dinner. Well, maybe the bow and arrow, sure, but shotgun, you might not have had Thanksgiving dinner, because you probably would have been spitting pellets out. And yeah, Darlene, exactly. It's a little disconcerting to be walking down the meat aisle and suddenly you're face to face with a pig's head looking right at you through the plastic. Yeah. And let's see here. Okay, so Mama Sean, greasy dark meat from what you remember, but it was but I was a white meat turkey kid, so may have been good. Right. Yeah. No, but you know what though? I feel like I've heard that the wild game birds are generally greasier and darker meat. And the greasier totally makes sense, because I mean, you know, if they're living in the wild, they do need to have that fat layer to, you know, keep them all cozy. And and Thomas the Turtle, gray goose equals French vodka. Exactly. And wild turkey, well, yeah, wild turkey sometimes comes in a bottle. That's the unleaded turkey is the one that comes in the bottle. The leaded turkey is the one that comes from Pussycat and his shotgun. And PPP Bang, we won't talk about vodka, but last stream, I don't think you were here, and we were talking about akavit, and I don't know whether or not Finland has a variety of akavit that is typical to Finland, but we learned that akavit in Sweden versus Norway versus this, that, and t'other are a little bit different. And so if Finland has a version of akavit that you know about, I would be curious to hear about it. Like, apparently Sweden's akavit has dill in it, which seems weird. Whereas other akavit has like star anise or maybe some caraway. Yeah, I don't know. So if you've got any input on akavit, your northern knowledge would be much appreciated. And let's see here. And okay, Mama Sean, you have had the same trauma as I have. Open the freezer and there was a pig's head just staring right at ya. Yep. And let's see here, Pussycat. I prefer dark meat too. I've never had duck. I would love to try duck. Thomas the Turtle. Peking duck looks and sounds delicious. The recipe for it looks like something I would definitely dig. But you have to at the restaurant that I go to, you have to order Peking duck 3 days in advance. So it's not something you just like get spur of the moment. But I do think though there's an Asian mart down the street that you can just grab a Peking duck off the rack. Because it's those red shiny glazed ducks that hang in the windows. That's the Peking duck, right? And Pussycat, I don't know what a mandarin duck is. Is that different than a Peking duck? Interesting. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever heard of mandarin duck. Definitely heard of Peking duck. By the way, you guys, did you know that Peking is just another way to say Beijing? Same word, same place, same city, two different things. Makovey duck is what your grandma made. Delicious. Is it Makovey or is it Muscovy duck, Darlene? Muscovy ducks are, they're the ones with the weird things on their faces, and they're black and white or black or white or whatever. We used to have some Muscovy ducks at the pond down the street from my house. I think they were pets of people who lived on the pond, and they were the cutest, the cutest, ugliest ducks, because they really are ugly, but they're so cute. They're so ugly cute. And from what I understand, they make really good eating. Like they're the tasty kind of duck, from what I understand. Okay, so it was the Muscovy duck, yes. And that, from what I understand, Darlene, them's be good eating ducks. Oh yeah. And Mama Sean, Peking is imperial. You take, oh, right on, cool. So Peking is imperial. You take Chinese painting class with an instructor from China. So interesting. Nice. Excellent. And let's see here. Rick, isn't Peking duck just the recipe? Well, for the duck, right? Well, okay. I'm not sure what you're asking here, but Peking duck is a recipe. It's a meal, right? But Peking, that word alone, forget the duck. Peking is actually just the imperial version of what we call Beijing. There's a lot of, mandarin duck is the bird. Got it. Okay. That makes total sense. I get it now. All right then. So, Peking duck, Chinese food. Mandarin duck from China, I assume. Now, we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about Japan. Because last week, someone with very sharp ears noticed that Lono was playing Sukiyaki, which is not actually the name of the song. I don't remember what the name of the song is, but I can tell you in a minute. Anyway, I thought I would grab, because it is now time for our Lono listening break. Pussycat, I'm looking in your direction. I thought I would grab Lono's performance of this particular song, and then after that, we can talk a little bit about locals and their slippas. So, let's go listen to some Sukiyaki.
日本皆様、私はロノです。 こぼれないように泣きながら歩く一人ぼっちの夜思い出す秋の日一人ぼっちの夜悲しみは星の鏡悲しみは月の鏡上を向いて歩こう涙がこぼれないように泣きながら歩く一人ぼっちの夜一人ぼっちの夜
All right, perfect. And the way Lono ends that video perfectly slides into another thing that Piccola T shared with us, which is Gabi Pahanui. That is exactly what Lono is doing a tribute to whenever he ends a song with his I say there. And that is his tribute to Gabi Pahanui, who was a local singer, songwriter that really helped bring Hawaiian music back to the forefront and consciousness of the youth of Hawaii, where in the 60s and 70s, right when the languages were being lost and pride in being Hawaiian was sort of squished down. It got squished down so much that it popped back up into popular music thanks to Gabi and his ilk. And I believe his sons still carry on, or some of his sons still carry on that tradition. But as Piccola T pointed out, you know Gabi's local when they include the rubber slipper in his statue. And it reminded me of the video that I played of Lono last stream, where Lono was doing a hula in his bare feet, but his rubber slipper tan line was so dark and distinct, it actually looked like he was wearing shoes. And so, like I said, much of this stream was brought to us today by Piccola T, our roving reporter on the streets of Hawaii. She will not be with us on Wednesday because she'll be over in Maui doing probably some other roving reporter stuff. Or not. Maybe she'll just be enjoying herself. That being said, going back to that Lono song we just listened to, Thomas, you are 100% right. That actually is a protest song against the American occupation of Japan. And the lyrics that you might hear overlaid the same song, the same melody, that is, in 1980, a group called Taste of Honey had a bit of a disco hit with this song called Sukiyaki, but the lyrics that they sing are unique to their version and their version alone. The lyrics are English, but they are not a translation of what Lono was just singing in Japan. In Japanese. He was in Hawaii when he made that video. He was singing in Japanese. So the Japanese words to that song are distinctly different than the version that you might hear from Taste of Honey, or that you might hear sampled in a lot of different modern music. That's how I became familiar with the song, was a sample of the Taste of Honey version, which was then sampled into a Snoop Dogg song, which I knew like the back of my hand. And so when I heard Lono singing this very distinct melody that I knew the words to, only they weren't the words he was singing, it was very, very confusing. And so anyway, went down a rabbit hole, read all about it, and realized, oh, the words that I'm singing are the wrong words to the song. That is not what the song is about. That is not what the song, that's not what the song was about. The song, absolutely, as Thomas the Turtle said, was a protest song against the American occupation in Japan after World War II, during the 1950s, etc., etc. And so, Darlene, your dad was stationed in Japan, and you honestly remember him having a record of this song. Oh, I'm sure. Play it often from his army days. Totally. Pussycat. Lono has a video of him dancing to an ancient chant on YouTube. That is correct. I've got that video downloaded, and we can probably share that later on. But I don't have it uploaded to the system right now, so we're not going to do that today. But Lono, as I mentioned, the last stream, he studied extensively. Well, I considered extensively. I don't think he would. But he studied for 6 years under at a hula halau, and so he primarily joined that halau, not necessarily to learn the dances, although by default he had to. He did it to learn the history and learn the chants, etc., etc. And some of the chants that he learned back then, he has since turned into actual songs. Not out of disrespect for the chant, but he A, doesn't consider himself a chanter, and B, he is a musician who remembers things best in music. And so for him to remember the chant, it was easier for him just to put it to music and create a song out of it. And so Gil Soto in the house, wondering what the heck's happening, y'all. Well, gosh, Gil, we have been talking about plovers and geese and booze and noodles and hulas and the Japanese occupation the United States occupation of Japan, and all these things. We've been talking about a lot. So yeah, depends on how you feel about those topics, how you are, I guess. And yes, the chant is 900 years old, the one that you're referring to that he's got on YouTube. Absolutely, yes. And he's got a couple other songs that are based on chants and the history of the lineage on the islands. In fact, there's one particular song, the Machiavelli song. I cannot remember what the Machiavelli song is called off the top of my head, but basically that song goes through the lineage of a particular family from the time that family hit the island of Molokai until present day, and that particular family has basically deemed that song as their own now, even though Lono is the one who wrote it. And they play that song apparently at every single one of the memorial services and funeral services for anyone in that family that passes, because it does recognize the lineage from the beginning of time on that island for that clan. And so locals consider even though, as Lono has said, and I've repeated for him, he is not a chanter, he's not a historian, he is not the keeper of the records. In a way, he is. Others might disagree. The songs that he writes contain so much history for the island of Molokai, and you really couldn't. If you go and you read the liner notes and the lyric book, there's so much Molokai history to be found within the words that Lono has shared with us. Another great resource for the history that Pussycat basically was pointing out is Lono's YouTube channel, Kaupe'epe'e. If you go and you read, almost every single song he posts, he has a history of it, a reason for why he chose that song to post. It's a bit of knowledge about that song, a little bit more of a background story about that song. And so I really, really encourage you, if you're interested in learning about Molokai-centric Hawaiian history, Lono's YouTube channel, his lyric workbook, his lyrics and chord workbook on his website, and the liner notes within his releases really are a treasure trove of information right there. And then they even give you suggestions as to further resources to familiarize yourself with. And let's see here. However, yes, that is correct. The one thing, you guys, Gil, this could change within seconds. The one thing that we did not talk about today, chocolate. We didn't talk about chocolate, which is kind of weird considering some of you guys might have chocolate in your house right now. Some of you guys might have stocked up on chocolate because it's cheap today, because it's the day after Halloween, and that's the best day to buy chocolate. Another best day to buy chocolate, February 15th. So alas, oddly enough, even though it's the day after, we didn't talk about chocolate. But Thomas the Turtle coming in with a brilliant statement. Peanut M&Ms. You know, Thomas, there was a time in my life where peanut M&Ms were like disgusting and gross, and there was just no point. And now, as an adult, I think peanut M&Ms are some of the best things in the world. I mean, I love peanut M&Ms, especially when they're kind of just room temperature or a little bit warmer, and they're just a little bit soft. They're not melted, not in my hand or in my mouth, but they're just a little bit soft. Oh yeah, I'm telling you right there. Peanut M&Ms, they are delicious. Gina, you wish you had chocolate? I wish I had some peanut M&Ms. Pussycat doesn't have enough chocolate. Darlene has enough chocolate. Doesn't allow it in her house because she loves chocolate. It's pretty much the reason why I don't allow it in my house either, because I love chocolate. And Pussycat, Reese's Pieces. Not a fan of Reese's Pieces, man. I will absolutely trade all of my Reese's Pieces in my Halloween candy bag I'll trade my Reese's Pieces for your peanut M&Ms. Do we have a deal? I'll give you 3 bags of Reese's Pieces for 2 bags of your peanut M&Ms. Do we have a deal? Okay. Cindy Krause, Butterfingers are good, but you know what? I recently rediscovered the Fifth Avenue bar. Are any of y'all familiar with the Fifth Avenue bar? If you like Butterfinger, I strongly suggest you look into the Fifth Avenue bar. It is better than the Butterfinger. It's like, it's flakier. The chocolate is better. It's just everything that the Butterfinger is, only better, in my opinion. And also, the Butterfinger like really gets caught in my teethuses, whereas the Fifth Avenue is a little flakier and doesn't get so caught in the teethuses. But yeah, Butterfinger, man, I'm telling you. I mean, not Butterfinger, Fifth Avenue, man, I'm telling you, way better than Butterfinger in my opinion. And then Darlene coming in with the reality. They're all good in my opinion. Chocolate, need I say more? Right, exactly. And Thomas the Turtle, Ferrero Rocher, also good. I also really like, and I don't know what they're called, but I think they're made by the same people as the Ferrero Rocher, only they're the white ones. And it's like white, I'm assuming white chocolate, which normally I don't like, but in this I do. And it's got coconut, and it's a very similar concept to the Ferrero Rocher, whatever, but it's white with coconut. Those are really good too. And Gil, Abuelita's hot chocolate on a cold morning with sweet potato empanada. Oh no. I'm gonna take your word for it, my friend, because I've never even seen a sweet potato empanada. But I will say, I'm not a fan of sweet potato, but for something to eat but I've also never had it in the morning. Like, a sweet potato seems like it would be a good breakfast food. And let's see here. Hold on. Cola T's coming in with some controversial statements here. Am I gonna clutch my pearls? Cola T, hope this doesn't disqualify me, but I'm not a fan of peanut butter with chocolate or anything sweet except for jam. Well, first off, Cola T, I have no problem with that because that means if you sit next to me and you've got peanut butter and chocolate, you're gonna just give it to me. So, I have no problem with your stance at all. But actually, your stance is only controversial in the sense that you are okay with jam and peanut butter, because a lot of people worldwide don't like peanut butter with sweet stuff because peanut butter is seen as a savory thing. So you not liking peanut butter with something sweet is actually like not really unusual. But the fact that you make an exception for jam is a little bit unusual, but that's okay. That's okay. Because jam is just so tasty. How can you not? And let's see here. Kind of like pumpkin pie. In fact, pumpkin empanadas are very similar because they use the same spices. Well, pumpkin pie for breakfast is delicious, so sign me up for these sweet potato empanadas. However, Thomas the Turtle coming in with the real deal, which is the Nestle Toll House stupid chocolate chip cookies. Dude, that's just the dumbest, most simple cookie in the world, and it's the best cookie in the world. Why is something so simple so tasty? Oh God, it is just... Thank you, Nestle Toll House, for making a mistake, because apparently they invented those cookies on accident. They were trying to make chocolate cookies, and they thought that the chips would melt or something like that. But the chips didn't melt, and so they were just left as chunks. And I guess that was the accident that just, that was the happiest accident in the world, I think, is the Nestle Toll House accident. And let's see here. And then, yep, exactly, Darlene. Yep, that's Rick's favorite cookie. I really feel, especially fresh out of the oven, dude, that's gotta be the everybody's favorite cookie. And Thomas the Turtle, are we gonna have to throw hands? Are we gonna have to fight? I will tell you right now, I will fight you for your 100 grand bar. Nestle's 100 grand bar is the most perfect candy bar ever. Perfect amount of caramel, perfect texture of caramel, the Rice Krispies, the chocolates. It's the best one. It's the best. It is the best. So, Thomas the Turtle, you're going to have to be on one side of the table. I'm going to have to be on the other. and we're just gonna have to agree to let each other's 100 grands go, because otherwise we might have to fight, and I'm willing to fight. Okay, maybe thumb wrestle. I'm willing to thumb wrestle for all of them, because they're the best. Well, are they the best though? Because then Pussycat comes in with Kit Kats. No, 100 grand's better than a Kit Kat, but not much. I'm loving me some Kit Kat. Oh, dude, Twix. Twix is good, but you know what's even better, dude? There's actually, Twix is, Gil, I can eat 1,000,100 grands. Absolutely, exactly. But Twix, actually, check this out, dude. I can't remember what the cookie's called. I want to say it's called something like Royal Shortbread or something like that. But Twix is actually based on a British bar cookie that is a shortbread with caramel with a layer of chocolate on top. So while Twix is good, you can actually make homemade Twixes, and I'll bet you they'll even be better. I've never done it before, but I'll bet you they'd be better. And let's see here. Yes, exactly, Mama Sean. The Toll House was a restaurant, and she added broken chocolate to the cookie dough. And if I remember the furtherance of that story, she thought the chocolate would melt in and mix in with the dough, but nope. And let's see here. Elaine, one of your first jobs was in a macadamia nut candy shop before the ones now. Smelling chocolate all day, Hershey 25-pound bars. You got tired of eating it after a couple weeks, but the white chocolate, Yes, and you know, from what I understand, I know this was true for me because my boss and I used to make like hundreds of pounds of almond butter toffee every Christmas holiday for our clients. And I know that after a while, all of that sugar, all that chocolate, all of that everything, which at one point was so tempting and delicious, you just lose all desire for it. It's just not even. And from what I understand, it's pretty standard practice at candy factories to let the new hires, like, let them eat all the chocolate that they want. Let them get sick on the chocolate. Give them about 2 weeks. They won't touch any more chocolate. They will be so sick of chocolate, so sick of the candy, that they will never touch it again. And I really do think that exposure therapy to chocolate is a real thing. And having worked with barrels full of hot, molten, melted chocolate, I mean, I was covered, up to my elbows in it on some days. And when I first started, I'd want to lick that chocolate off my hands. Now it's just like, don't even get it near my face. I can't even, it's just too much, man. It's just too much. Let's see here. Gil Soto, Heath Bar. Okay, Heath Bar good, but which do you like better, Score or Heath? I go back and forth. I can't decide which one of those I like better. And let's see here. Gina, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, I will admit, even though I just said chocolate can get tiresome, I will admit Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are kind of the bomb. And let's see here. Darlene, there was this recipe I speak of, the $1 Million Shortbread Cookie. America's Best Cooking PBS made that cookie with the shortbread, the caramel, and the chocolate topping. Okay, maybe that's what it was, $1 Million Shortbread. Whatever. Either way, all I know is I saw that and was just like, I want that in my mouth now. And in fact, it just occurred to me, the Walker's shortbread, they come already in sticks. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? They already come in Twix-like shaped biscuits. I might have to see if I can make some homemade Twix with using the Walker's shortbreads. Because the Walker's shortbreads are so good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I couldn't make a better shortbread than what Walker's already does, right? And Elaine, yes, coming in, confirmation. Hey, yes, they told me I could eat as much as you wanted. First few days, exactly, your mouth was chocolate mush, but then you couldn't eat anymore. That's exactly it. They're just, yep, exactly. And Pussycat, I have never had a chocolate-coated potato chip, but I don't see how that would be bad. That sounds delicious. And Ruffles at that, oh, sign me the flying fork up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby doll. And Thomas the Turtle, oh, and Nestle Crunch, yes. But you know what, though? I don't like Nestle Crunch as much as I used to. Just like actually the 100 Grand Bar has got the same problem. They no longer use naturally shaped puffed rice. All the puffed rice that they use now is like smaller and more uniform. They're like puffed rice balls instead of puffed rice random shapes. And it gives a little bit of a different texture, and it's not nearly as airy. I liked the bars before they messed with whatever it is they've done with the Crispies. And Mama Sean, you are right. Shortbread is super easy to make, and I do make an okay shortbread, but in comparison to Walker's, Walker's is just so much better than what comes out of my kitchen. But you are right. Shortbread is probably one of the easiest things in the world to make. That is true. And yes, Darlene, exactly. I just want to add some melted caramel and some chocolate. And, oh, Picola Tea. I feel like you did tell us this, but Picola Tea's coming in with a new and dangerous thing. Shortbread s'mores, Walker's shortbread cookies, fancy chocolate. And then, of course, the marshmallow. And, Thomas the Turtle, I don't like Whoppers, so I wouldn't know. But are you telling me that the Whoppers at the theater? Thomas the Turtle just says, at the theater Whoppers. So, theater Whoppers are different? Do they have, like, a different texture? What's going on with that, Thomas? Now I'm very curious. And, let's see here. Pussycat, just give me a Hershey bar and I'm done. Yeah, actually, you know what? A plain Hershey bar, I am fine. I am fine and dandy as well. And yeah, exactly, Picola Tea. Invite everybody over for the next Walker's s'more party. And Pussycat, big box theater Whoppers. Yeah, okay, so, are they bigger in the big box then? Or do you just want the big box of Whoppers? You know, I think you used to be able to get them in a milk carton. Isn't that? Anyway. All right, Pussycat is coming in with the 2-minute warning whistle, even though we're 1 minute past the bottom of the hour. So, we did get to talk about chocolate today, just like we thought we might not. But we did. All right, you guys. Whoppers are Pussycat's wife's favorite. Pussycat, he can handle just a Hershey bar. We'll bring some Walkers to the next StatterBox at the cinema, and maybe we'll have some Walkers shortbread cookies as well. So, speaking of next StatterBox at the cinema, we're going to have Coco. It's our annual celebration of Dia de los Muertos, which of course is today. But since today is not StatterBox at the cinema day, we're not going to watch it today. We're going to watch it on Saturday, 6 p.m. West Coast time. Sunday, we will have Chatter with Statter again, 5 p.m. West Coast time. And at that point, we'll have had daylight savings time, so it'll be an hour earlier, but it'll still be 5 p.m. So 5 p.m., no matter daylight savings, standard, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be 5 p.m. West Coast time. All right. There we have it, Rabbit. 5 p.m. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. I want to thank everybody for sharing your stories and chatting. I want to thank Picola Tea for pretty much most of this content here. And yes, we will see each other very soon. All right, you guys. Take care.